I'm joined today by Manfredi Catella. Manfredi, welcome. Good to see you again. I just wanted to pick up on the Porta Romana project because there's been a lot of developments with that. So I guess just talk me through where we are at the moment.
Well, Porta Romana is one of the very important railway yard of Milan. Three largest railway yard were Porta Nuova, which has turned into the neighborhood that is well known, and the other two large neighborhoods to be redeveloped are actually Scalofarini and Porta Romana. Both of these two railway yards are maybe like a kilometer and a half from the city center, so relatively close to the city center of Milan. And Porta Romana is in the south part of Milan. So it's a very sensitive project because it hosts also the Olympic Village, which will be designed and developed for athletes coming to Milan in 2026 for the Winter Olympics. So it's an important development and really a partnership between the developer, the region Lombardy, the municipality of Milan, and all the organization for the Winter Olympics.
And Manfredi, in terms of the winning bid for the master plan, what were the key elements there for you?
We had six finalists in the competition with great names, very talented architects. The winning one has been a group of architects under the name of Outcomist, behind which I would say one of the very qualifying element was actually the composition of the team, because there was Lee Polisano from PLP, Liz Diller from Diller Scorfidio, Carlo Ratti from Italy. But in addition to that, they've been smart in integrating the team with specific expertise on Olympic Village with the sport team of ICOM, and on activation from a public rail with Portland, and a great team of landscaper joining the team. So it was pretty comprehensive. So the quality of the team, I would say, is number one in terms of distinguishing factor in the winning award. The second one, more on the master plan. The master plan is relatively simple, and it's rooted in reconnecting the north and the south part of the site, which is long 1 kilometer, large 300 meters, but cut into by the train tracks. So the strong statement by the master plan fundamentally is this land bridge, which is, as a matter of fact, a park which goes on top of the train tracks and reconnect the two sides in front of the Fondazione Prada, the Prada Foundation. And in addition to that, there is a system which is called elevated forest that fundamentally is a high line comparable to the high line of New York in terms of being a lifted pedestrianized path that is on top of the train tracks and connect fundamentally also the east and west of the site. This is probably one of the distinguishing elements.
Yeah, really interesting to see how that use of green space will evolve, I think, and connecting the different elements of the city. How important is the impact element of the scheme?
For us, obviously, this is very important. We fund this project, this program, with our ESG fund, which is the first impact investing fund in Italy in real assets. And we are detailing, together with the design group, the goals that we want to preset in the project. But certainly this will evolve into uses. For example, the neighborhood has fundamentally 50% of the uses will be residential, of which 50% is going to be affordable. And these include, to give you numbers, roughly 60,000 square meters of affordable housing, of which a part will be the Olympic Village, which will be designed already with the permanent functions integrated in the initial design, which is student housing. So it's a very interesting challenge, the one of Porta Romana, also from this double use or transition in use that we have to incorporate in the design.
In terms of creating the sort of mixed use environment, how do you tackle that in terms of the ground level, looking particularly at areas like retail and those kinds of things, given the transformation towards e-commerce?
At the end, cities are made by the quality of the space that we all have access to, which fundamentally is the ground floor of a city, which becomes where there is social interaction. So the e-commerce great benefit from one side have a very relevant disadvantage because it challenge the retail at ground floor. And imagine what it would mean if our cities would suddenly turn off all the ground floor. That would be a problem. It would be not so nice, would be not so safe. So activating the public realm and integrating outdoor space and also indoor space will be a challenge for any developer, and not just developers, but in general for the society to implement. So that is a very important point in Porta Romana for sure as well, and that will have to be conceived thinking about experiential retail, like culture, events. For example, what we're doing in Porta Nuova as a test bed, we have taken the management of the park and we are activating the park with culture and events that generate traffic and flow, and we are reshaping completely the retail with a very innovative, experiential, and very much ESG driven retailers that we score one by one when we populate the retail platform, so that it becomes a very strong identity and an interesting place to go, which is similar to what we will do in Porta Romana in a way. Plus, if you want, in Porta Romana, we have the luck of having the Prada Foundation already there, being a very important cultural catalyst of the city already.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that discussion around retail and curated retail and activating spaces and what that means for cities. Interested to follow what happens with this particular project. Really interesting, innovative project. Thanks very much for joining us, Manfredi.
Thank you, Richard.